you so much to everybody who came. This means a lot to us, and also our namesake, Reb Zusha Band. He would be very happy to know. He is very happy to know that we're all here, and he's here with us. And thank you so much for coming. And if you see an empty candle, the candle is not yet lit, then we would love for you to light it. Lila Nishmas of Zusha Band Eliezer.
L'chaim, l'chaim. The Yahrtzeit of a Tzaddik, a letter from the Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe writes, after the Ptira of the Handel Vitebsker, was another Talmud of the Maggid. Reb Zusha was on Talmidei HaMaggid. And he writes, he brings out from the Zohar that Tzaddik Bispater, that after a Tzaddik passes on from this world, they're present even more in this world than when they were alive. And the language that he brings down is Chai HaTzadik Ein Chai B'Sarim. The life of a tzaddik is not the physical life. The life of a tzaddik is Emunah. Life of a tzaddik is Emunah Yir V'Ava. The life of a tzaddik is Emunah, faith, Yira, and Ava. That's the life of a tzaddik. And since it's Ein Chai B'Sarim, it's not the physical life. So when the tzaddik's in the guf, in the body, so there's limitations of there to the Emunah Yira V'Ava. Once the tzaddik is no longer in the body, then their fullness of their Emunah Yir V'Ava is present in this world. And when a person aligns himself with the Emunah Yir V'Ava of that tzaddik, they could be more connected even when the person was alive. So therefore, we gather together in the Yahrtzeit of Reb Zusha. We have to really talk about three things. We have to talk about Emunah, Yir V'Ava. And specifically, the Emunah Yir V'Ava that's connected to B'chlal Talmidei HaMaggid, Talmidei Baal Shem, and specifically to Reb Zusha. The order is also important. The order is very apitoris Baal Shem, that it's Emunah Yir V'Ava. Generally, when we talk about Avos Hashem, Yiras Hashem, the order is Av V'Yira. That's the way most people say it. That's the way the Rambam talks about first comes Ava, then comes Yira. But in Torah Baal Shem, Torah Chassidus, Yira comes before Ava. And Yira is not fear. Yira is some type of izdachas v'moichem, some type of clarity in the mind, awe, respect, which we have to talk about. And then in these three things of Emunah Yir V'Ava, there's actually three elements, these three types of Emunah Yervav itself. There's Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Emunah B'Eibishter. That's one level of Emunah. And then there's the Emunah that a person has Emunah in other people. Emunah B'Hashem Emunah Shavler, Emunah Tzadikim or B'chal, Emunah in other people. And then there's the Emunah B'Atzmai, a person's self-faith, faith in their own self. The same goes with Yir Vava. These are emotions that are Ben Adam L'Makin and Melam L'Chaver, that both apply to between man and God, between man and man. So there's the Yir between man, Ben Adam L'Makim, and then there's the Yir Ben Adam L'Chaver, and then the Yir L'Adam L'Atzmai. The same goes with Ava. It's Avos Hashem, it's Avos Yisrael, it's Avos Atzmai. So there's a lot to talk about. Yeah. So we have to begin sober. We have to begin sober. Emunah, Shem writes, Shem taught, didn't write. Shem teaches that Emunah Yidvekas. What is Emunah? Emunah means so simply translated, what does Emunah mean? Emunah means you have faith. You believe. What does it mean you believe? You believe that there's a Rebbeinu Shalom, that your life has purpose, it has meaning, the world is for a purpose. There's always the idea of Emunah is connected to B'tachon. Emunah is connected to B'tachon. That Emunah means you believe in the Rebbeinu Shalom. And what does B'tachon mean? B'tachon means that you believe, you have trust that whatever the Rebbeinu Shalom is doing, whatever is happening, it's Komanda Rahman Latavov, and everything Hashem is doing is for the better, for the good. And this is what the level of B'tachon means in general. So you believe that there is a purpose, and the purpose is for the good. This is what the B'tachon means. Then there's a higher level of Emunah B'tachon that was revealed in Teres HaChassidus and Teres of Hashem. That B'tachon, Emunah B'tachon means not only do you believe that it's for the good, but that when a person has B'tachon, it means not that you believe it's coming from the Rebbeinu Shalom, it's coming from Hashem, and it's for the good. But you believe that Hashem wants your good. Hashem wants it to be good for you. And the kli that draws down this light, that it should be good for you, is the fact that you believe that it should be good for you. This is a deeper level of B'tachon. Not only you say, Koman al Rahman, Hashem does it for the best, or Gamzul L'Toivo. But you say that I actually believe that it will be good. And be good in a revealed way. Why? Because Hashem is Teva Leit, and Hashem is good. Maybe you don't deserve it. And maybe there has to be some type of kavaras avoidance, some other reasons why you shouldn't get the good. When you have a tochen, the fact that you trust that it should be good, that in itself is the mitzvah that becomes the kli that you receive that toiv. Do you follow? Huh? You're talking too much. L'chaim. Maybe she should help. We just have to chazab, so shtickle meise. There's a story, a famous story. Someone came to the Maggid and told the Maggid that he knows, and he has betachan, he has amunah, and it's clear to him that everything Hashem does is for the best, and he knows it's for the best, and he sees it's for the best, but he doesn't experience it for the best. So he told him to go to Reb Zusha. He came to Reb Zusha, he told him, the Maggid told him, the Rebbe told him to come to him to ask him this question. Reb Zusha says he doesn't understand why the Maggid sent him to him when everything's talking by him good. He doesn't have any struggles. And he sees it for the good. See, the same way also, it's brought down in Svarim, that the difference between, generally we don't like to measure tzaddikim, speak about this, but the general idea is that the difference between the Yahrtzeit and Reb Zusha was, in the Yahrtzeit was a male that always looked positively at Klal Yisrael. And when he saw something wrong, he saw it as a positive. And they say Reb Zusha didn't see something was wrong. It's two different bechinas. I mean, you can't really work on that level. One is that you see something wrong and you right away justify it. You see it as a positive. And one is that you don't actually see the wrong itself. This is the type of clarity, a type of emunah that to live with. All right, we're going to continue. L'chaim. Dveikus, the sense of feeling connected, not a sense of feeling connected, because if you have a sense that you're feeling connected, you're not connected. But to be connected. Because the Maggid writes, the way it's so that if a person davens, a person prays, and they're aware that they're davening with such dveikus, then they should know that they're not in dveikus. So the tnua, the movement or the experience of dveikus is almost the absence of self. Emotions, if a person has yira and ava, any emotion means that there's a movement from one thing to the next. It's a movement either you're moving closer or you're moving back. But dveikus is experience that you don't feel any longer any movement. It's not true anymore. One, you're davuk. Lot of Chayim Sopeches says that Adam Rishon was thrown out of Gan Eden. Gan Eden means that it's a place of yichud, a place of dveikus, a place of unity. A place of no shame, a place of issue. There's no separation. There's only one. Because Vayigarish, when he leaves Gan Eden, so there's a Chayim Sopeches. There's a swirling sword Tudas Amalafi, one of the Rishonim, writes that the swords, Cherev, Sapechas, is Aviyira. It's very deep. And Aviyira is actually the sword that doesn't let you back into Gan Eden. In other words, Aviyira are the Gatfen, are the wings that allow you to fly. The Torah says Tikkun Zohar, Torah, Chassidus form, it brings out also Tefillah, mitzvahs. They don't have Aviyira. It's like Parchalela, doesn't fly upwards, doesn't allow you to get to the gate of unity. Even if you have one, you don't have the other, so a bird can't fly with one wing. It's a lopsided flying. In fact, it's not flying at all. But if you want to get back into the gate, you want to get back into Gan Eden, you have to drop even Aviyira. You have to have Dveikus. Total collapse of self-awareness in the experience. That you're not even aware that you're experiencing it. So everybody knows that this was the Madrega, this was the level of Reb Zusha. It's pure art, pure Dveikus. Dveikus in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Dveikus in the Torah, Dveikus in another Yid. The Alter Rebbe was known as a very Gana Goinim said on Reb Zusha of Anipolin that the Rebbe Reb Zusha is the Sarah Torah. In fact, in the Tanya, one of the only two Askamas that the Alter Rebbe wanted or got was for Yidli Akoyan and for Reb Zusha. That's the Askama that he wanted in the Tanya. He called him the Sarah Torah. It's a very strange phrase, if you know a little bit about Chassidus. It's a strange phrase. Apparently, it's a strange phrase. They say about Reb Zusha, Sarah Torah. Sarah Torah is the Prince of Torah. You can say Sarah Yerushalayim, Sarah Yisrael, Sarah Avos Hashem, Sarah Dveikus, Prince of Torah. So they asked the Alter Rebbe, what's Pshat? What does it mean that he calls Reb Zusha Sarah Torah? He told him two stories. This is one story was that Talmidei HaMagid, the students of the Magid, were once learning a shtickle Zohar, and they were having difficulty understanding what this Zohar means. Reb Zusha was davening on the side. He wasn't involved in the conversation. In the middle, he turns around and says, "What's all this commotion?" They told him that there's a shtickle Zohar that they're trying to figure out, and there's a big argument on what this Zohar means. So Reb Zusha said, "How long are you going to argue for?" He said, "We're going to argue until we come to a resolution." He says, "But I'm going to have to daven. You're making too much noise. What are we going to do?" I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to figure it out, and then you'll be quiet. So Reb Zusha says, "No, bring me the Zohar. I'll figure it out for you." So Reb Zusha looked in the Zohar. He went into Dveikus. And when he came out, he said the Pshat the Zohar. So Talmidei HaMagid asked him, Reb Zusha knew Haim how do you know this? Where does this come from? He says, very simple. You're making noise. I wanted to daven. You have to figure out what it says in the Zohar. So I did Aliyas in the Shama. I went to the Rashbi and asked him Pshat. I went to Shema. I asked him what the interpretation of this Pshat in the Zohar is. And I told him the Pshat. What he said. So Alter Rebbe said that's why he's called the Sarah Torah. Second story is, it's a similar story, that the Baal HaFlo and Reb Shmelke, the two brothers, two big students of the Magid, were coming to Mezrich Talmidei HaMagid were very excited that the brothers were coming. And the Magid himself was preparing himself for these two big students that were coming. And when they came to the Magid, they went straight to the Rebbe, and they told him that they have a difficulty with our Gemara, that they've been arguing over already for a few days, and they came to ask the Rebbe the Pshat in the Gemara, the interpretation of the Gemara. The Magid said that he's weak, and he told him to go to Reb Zusha. Reb Zusha will tell you Pshat in the Gemara. The Alter Rebbe says he was standing there, and apparently the Alter Rebbe and Reb Zusha shared a room in Mezrich. They were roommates. Because he says he went back to his apartment. And he came, and he said he was hiding. He wanted to see what was going to happen. He said that Shmuel, and they came to Balaflon. They came to Reb Zusha. They told Reb Zusha that the Magid sent us to you because we have a problem. We don't understand this Gemara. Zusha said, if the Magid said he should come to me, then I have to answer it. He said he took his lulka, his pipe, and he started smoking on his pipe for a few minutes. And a few minutes later, he said the Pshat in the Gemara. Later on, the Magid asked the Alter Rebbe what happened when the Talmidim came there. So Alter Rebbe repeated the story. So the Magid asked the Alter Rebbe, how long did it take for Reb Zusha to answer the question? He said it took him a few minutes. He was smoking on his pipe for a few minutes. Alter Rebbe said, the Magid said that probably Reb Zusha was not feeling well because it should have been much quicker. That should have came quicker. And he was dovik to the Sar. What's the Pshat, the Sar HaTorah? The Sar HaTorah means you dovik to the Makar HaTorah, to the source of the Torah. The Seichel of the Torah, intelligence of the Torah, when you're learning Davar Sichli, you're understanding something, you're grasping something. So then there's you and the thing that you're grasping. Yes, it's a yichud nifla shenkum, it's talking a very big yichud, but there's still a level of separation. When a person is davik to the kisser shel Torah, the source of the Torah, to the klal of the Torah, to the silence before the anoichi, before the aleph, then there's total dveikus. There's a famous story about Reb Zusha that there was once a Yid that came to Reb Zusha and told him that his father passed away a few days ago, and ever since his father passed away, he's having terrible dreams. And in the dreams, his father's coming to him and tells him that Rahman al-Islam, he has to shmad. The shmad, he has to become denounce his Judaism and become a Christian. He doesn't understand what kind of crazy dreams he's having night after night. It's terrifying dreams. He comes to Reb Zusha, he says, what should I do? So Reb Zusha told him that probably when they were burying his father at Salem, fell into the grave. Maybe the people that were burying were some Ukrainian goyim, and maybe they were wearing a cross, and Salem fell into the grave, and therefore your father is very disturbed by it. What you should do, you should unbury the grave and take out the Salem. So that's what they did. They went to the grave, they opened it up, and they found there was a Salem there. They took away the Salem, and everything was fine. This Yid eventually was in Vilna, and he went into the Gra. He came to the Gra, and told him this story, that he went to Reb Zusha. And Reb Zusha told him to take out the tzedel from the caver and he'll have better dreams. So the Gra told him, it's a Pella, because it's a Yerushalmi. It's a Yerushalmi. The interesting part of the story is that I don't know what a Yerushalmi is. I don't know if there's such a Yerushalmi. But this is the Maisa. That's why I think the story is a little bit different. I have another version of the story that has to do with kishuf and with water, and that's the Taka Yerushalmi in Sanhedrin. But we'll use this version because it's more popular. And the Gra says, Yerushalmi. So he says, I'm not very impressed. I'm just impressed that the position knew the Yerushalmi, but it's not a Leifus. It's the Yerushalmi. So the Yid went back to the Zusha and told him, no. So now you're bucking in Yerushalmi. He says, I have no idea that this was a Yerushalmi. I didn't know it was just a Yerushalmi. He says, how did you know? He says, I knew from where the Yerushalmi knew. That's the Sarah Torah, the Kisishal Torah. The Dveikus, beyond logic, beyond Seichel, pure Dveikus. This Dveikus also extended to another Chaver. A person could be sympathetic, empathetic. These are all emotions. You feel bad for another person. You sympathize with them. You empathize with them. You feel them. But you're still you and they're still them. And at night you sleep well. It's not your problem. It's their problem. And you're sympathetic to their problem. And then there's people that live on a whole nother level. On a level of dveikus. A level of dveikus with another person. There's a Maisa. With Reb Zusha, there's a Maisa like this. That he was once in an inn. It's known that Zusha and his brother Elimelech, they used to pravagolus. They used to practice exile, which means they would roam the countryside alone. No one knew who they were. And Reb Zusha this time was alone, and he was in an inn. Reb Zusha dressed like a very simple Jew. Most Talmidei HaMaggid dressed this way. He didn't wear a rabbinic garb, a fancy felt hat, or the big pelts. And he looked like a little bit like a disheveled rag. Someone's on the path, on the way, on the road. So there are a few hooligans. They were sitting next to Reb Zusha, and they were making fun of him. Okay. He's Makabala. Making fun of how he looks, and how he dresses, and he looks a little funny, and he dresses funny. And at night, Reb Zusha went to his room, and they were staying in the room next to him. And there was a very thin walls between them. So they were banging on the walls and drinking and making fun of him. Reb Zusha was doing his own thing, and then he started davening, saying Krishma. And he was saying Krishma, he was doing a cheshbon nefesh. He was doing an accounting for his soul, so he was thinking about his day. And all of a sudden they started crying. And he's crying. And as he's crying, he says, Chatasi, I've sinned. He says, I've done this aver, and that aver. And he starts enumerating all the things that he has done. But it's not that he did it. It's actually the guys in the other room were doing it, or did it. But he was saying it's his own problems. I'm sorry that I can't believe that I ate treif, and I was machal Shabbos, and And he's crying and crying for the Averis that he's done. And the people in the other room are listening, and they're seeing that he's listing every single Aver that they ever did, from in chronological order. This was yesterday, 2 days ago. And they see this person as Ruach HaKodesh, and he's reading their minds, he's reading their thoughts. And he's crying for themselves, for them. And they bang on his door, and they tell him, they have a shtickle here at Tshuva, they have a certain awakening for Tshuva, they tell him to the Rebbe, it's not your sins, these are our sins. And give us a path for Tshuva. So what's Pshat in the story? What does it mean? What does the story mean? The story means that when a person lives with Dveikus, not only is the other person's story, are you sympathetic to them, or empathetic to their story, but the other person's life actually becomes your life. And this is the way he lived. He said, Shamnu, Baganu, it was a Shamnu, attack I. This is the Madrega of Emunah. Emunah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Dveikus in the Kisser Shal Torah, Dveikus in another Yid. This is some of the things we have to be connected to, try to connect ourselves with. To not only feel for another, but to truly be present for another person. When you daven for another person, it should be as if you need it. Not if you daven for another person and you also need that issue, then your davening is answered. You need it for yourself. The other person's you. This is Dveikus. Chaim Hashem should give us the koyach to take a draw down the koyachas from the tzaddikim, emes, to experience Dveikus in the Kodesh Baruch Hu and Dveikus in the Yid. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Da da da.
part of Yira, part of Emunah is B'tachin. B'tachin seems to be the opposite posture of Emunah. Emunah is dveikus, bittul, ayin, lack of experience. One. And B'tachin is almost, you need azuvs Bitachon means I exist, I demand, I want. It seems to be, as Rebbe writes, it seems to acknowledge the opposite idea. It's a nice afachim, amunah bitachon. So we have to understand how the two things come together. How does it work? Amunah means it's all good. It's always good. It's always perfect. Bitachon means Hashem, it's going to be good, and it will be good. So it's not good. So is it good or is it not good? Is it yesh or it's ayin? It's interesting that the two brothers, Rav Melech and Reb Zusha, is brought down that Anagas HaMalchus, the Rabbista, the Rebbe between the brothers was really Rav Melech. He had a court, he had Talmidim, he had a Gabbai. It was part of being a Rebbe, you needed a Gabbai. Reb Zusha Taka was the opposite, had no Gabbai. It's not just a light thing. Reb Zusha was makbid always to not to pour, no one should pour him a drink. He should always pour his own drinks. Like the Baal Shem. Baal Shem also is like that. The Baal Shem HaKadosh should have a Gabbai. So Rebbe Melech really, especially for the Polish Chassidim that came from Poland, from Poland big. Rebbe Melech is the founder of Chassidus in Poland. He's the Rebbe of Rebbes. The Rebbe B'choizen is the Rebbe of the Poland big Rebbes in Poland. Reb Zusha didn't have a court, didn't have Talmidim, didn't have Chassidim, didn't have a Gabbai. So in the spheres, Rebbe Melech is connected to Malchus. Reb Zusha is connected to Yesod. Zusha, Zayin Vav Shin Aleph, this will be Remez, is 314. Shem Shakai. Shem Shakai, the name Shin Dalad Yud, is connected to the sphere of Yesod. There's the 10 names, and each name corresponds to another sphere. So Shem Shakai, El Shakai or Shakai, specifically is connected to the Midas HaYesod. This is brought down already in the Rishonim. The Rekeach writes this already. The Rekeach writes that that's why you find the name Shakai, Mikel Shakai. We learned in last week's Parsha. Very all of us. Mishri Hashem Lenet Akim Mikel Shakai. The Rekeach brings down that the Milui, the filling letters of Shin Dalad Yud, the filling letters is Gematria 500, the same Gematria Pruavu. And therefore you find that name, Shem Shakai, whenever Hashem is giving a bracha for children, to Avram and to Yaakov, it's with the name Shakai. That's why Yitzchak, the name doesn't appear by Yitzchak, only by Avram and by Yaakov. So Shakai is connected to Midas HaYesod, to Hashpah, to giving, to furthering, to Puravu, to be a Mashpia. That's on one hand, Shem Shaka, his name. And it's brought down in Noimul Melech Parsha that Shaka is connected to Shaddayim, which is basically the idea of a sled, a person that's suckling, nurturing, giving. This is on one level Shem Shakai, this name of Hashem. A mashpia, so it's giving and furthering. On the other hand, Chazal also tell us, so Medrash, Gemara Chagiga, Gemara says that the name Shakai comes from the word die. Yishallah died. That the world was expanding infinitely, and Hashem said, stop. Hashem says enough. Hashem Shakai has to do with stopping. Or Hashem Shakai has to do with shoyded merachas hateva, which is to break, to stop, to withhold. You see that already in the name. It seems to be two opposite ideas. It's giving or holding back. It's nurturing or it's breaking or destroying. The truth is that when a person the Gemara says that someone wants to become rich, Yahrtzeit Yahrtzeit. You want to become rich, when you daven, you should face north, soften. Because that's the place in the Mizbeach. The Mizbeach is soften, north. If you want to become wise, you should face south, because that's the place of the menorah. So someone came to the Maggid and said, what happens if you want to be rich and wise? What do you do? It's two opposite directions. By the way, two opposite directions doesn't only mean on a metaphysical level, but it's actually, it's your orientation. It's where you're facing, where you're heading. Someone wants to become rich. Their whole life is about becoming rich. And if you really want to be rich, you'll be rich. That's your orientation. You see this sometimes in little kids. You see a 10-year-old kid that's humbling. You know one day he's going to have money. It's like this is the nature of this person. They're always thinking about money. Every time they meet someone, they're thinking about what's the angle, how they can make money off this person. That's this. The people have this tchunas nefesh, this type of orientation. They're facing towards the tzafim, always facing towards the money. And then there's some people that face towards Dharam. They have a different orientation. They're always trying to find wisdom, chachma. You see, as a little child, you see, okay, this kid is going to be a wise child. They're inquisitive. They're always asking questions, always trying to know. Yes, it's a different orientation, different way you're facing. But what happens if you want both? You want to be rich and wise. So the Maggid says like this. The Maggid says that this problem only happens when a person is on a level of yesh. A person's a yesh, a person's an I, an ego. So the ego can be facing in this direction, the ego can face in that direction. And the two opposite directions can be faced simultaneously. But if a person's B'chinas Ayin, if a person is Ayin, then you could be in two separate places, two opposite directions simultaneously. These are the words. Now we have to understand what this means. So the words are, when you're an ayin, so the Baal Shem brings down, Talmid the Baal Shem brings down, B'Shem HaRamban, that there's no possibility for Ava year to exist in one experience besides Avodas Hashem. It's the same idea. That a person should be the Ava and the year simultaneously, which is also two separate expressions, two separate ways of being, can only when a person is connected to the Ayin. But what does it actually mean experientially? What does it actually mean to be in this place? To be in this place means to be an Ayin, but how do you get to that place of Ayin? It's the question of how do you live your life? What are you looking for in your life? Are you looking for your own shlemus, for your own growth, for your own expansion? Okay, then you're a yesh, and it could be a very nice tzura, a beautiful tzura, a very holy tzura, a very holy posture, a very erlechid. You want to become a Talmid Chacham, you want to be with Hashem. You're looking for your shleimus. You're looking to grow, you're looking to be. That's when you're living from a place of yesh. Okay, you can be a very fine yesh, very beautiful yesh. But then there's a type of avodah which is b'chinas ayin. B'chinas ayin means it's not what I want, it's what Hashem wants. How do you know what Hashem wants from you? If you're a married man and you come home, your wife asks you to take out the garbage, and you say you have to go run to a shir, then you're looking for shleimus, you're not looking for Hashem. Who said taking out the garbage is not as important as learning? Obviously, of course, it's not. But on the other hand, it is, because that's what Hashem wants you to do right now. That's ayin. Ayin is to ask yourself always the question, I'm put in this situation, I'm in this is the predicament that I find myself in. Why? Not what do I want out of life, or what does life want out of me. Because I'll say the difference between an Ovid Avodah Zarah and an Ovid Hashem. It's a very strong medrash. The medrash says that by the Nilus, when it says that Pari had a dream, it says the Pari had a dream, and he was standing on the Nile. The Nile, we know, was the Egyptian god. It was a deity. When Yaakov has a dream, he also sees Hashem, but Vina Hashem Nitzav Olav. He sees Hashem standing on top of him. So the difference is between Ovid Hashem and Ovid Zarah is not the one is serving idols and one is serving God. You can both be serving God, but one is you're standing on top of your God, and one God is standing on top of you. That's the difference. If you're Ovid Atzma, you're serving yourself, then Hashem is basically your vending machine. And it works like this. You do a mitzvah, you get a candy. A bigger mitzvah, more candies. Put in $10 in the machine, this is what you get. You kick the machine kicks you back. And yeah, you have a lot of candies at the end of your life. You have a big fat Gan Eden. But you're an Ovid Avodah Zarah. Betara. Because you all did it for yourself. What did I want? How did I gain? What did I benefit? So you're talking Erlechid, you're a fine Jew, you learn, you daven. But you're in your Tzuras Hayesh. You're in your this is who you are. You're standing on your God. The Medrash doesn't say that Pari was Ovid Avodah Zarah because he served idols. It says Pari was Ovid Avodah Zarah because he was standing on his God. He was above, the God was below. God serves you. Hashem serves you. The Torah serves you. Mitzvahs serve you. What does Vina Hashem Nitzav Olav? Vina Hashem Nitzav Olav means it's like Yaakov in the dream. There's oil in the Yarden boy. He sees angels coming and going, flying up, flying down. He has ups and downs. He has good days, he has bad days. He has days that he feels like he's in Eretz Yisrael, days that he feels like he's in Chutz La'aretz, days that he feels like he's going up, days that he feels like he's going down. But there's one thing that's steady, Nitzav Melech. There's one thing that's Atan Nitzav, and that's steady, that's permanent, it's always there. It's Hashem Nitzav Olav. Hashem is standing on top of that. Which means it's not that you don't feel, it's not that you don't experience life. It's not that you don't have a yira. It's not that you don't feel close, you don't feel. But the nakuda, the foundation of your life, the foundation is the ayin. The foundation is the Nitzav Olav. Hashem Nitzav Olav. The foundation is this is what Hashem wants. And therefore, how does it come down to Emunah v'Yira? Emunah and B'tachon. When does Emunah and B'tachon two separate things? When it's your yesh, when it's your I. So Emunah is the absence of I, and B'tachon is the fullness of I. And they're two contradictory things. But a person's with Hashem, and he knows that the Eibusher wants that you should have chsadim in your life. And a person starts davening and says, Yifreinu Hashem. So the Maggid says that a person has to daven for the Shekhinah. What does it mean daven for the Shekhinah? If there's illness in this world, or people don't have parnasa, people don't have shidduchim, and people are struggling in this world, there's not only a chasar, and there's not only a lack in the person's experience, but there's a lack in the divine presence in this world. That the Shekhinah is in Golos. So yeah, you're davening to be healed. You should be healed, and your friends should be healed, and Klal Yisrael should be healed, the world should be healed. Why? Because this is what Hashem wants. This is the desire. This is the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's desire. This is the Shekhinah's desire. The Shekhinah is Kalana Garashi. The Shekhinah is crying. The Shekhinah cannot be revealed so long as there are people that are ill in this world, people that are sick, people that need livelihood and are struggling with parnasa. As long as there's hardships and there's difficulties and there's war and pain, it means that the Shekhinah's presence is not fully revealed in this world. So this is what Hashem wants. Okay, so this is what you daven for. You daven for the world to be better, for your life, your own life to be better, for whatever you need. And that's the mitzvah of davening. The mitzvah tefillah, the chiv min haTorah to daven. The Rambam writes that the chiv min haTorah to daven every day is the mitzvah min haTorah. Love the b'chol. The Ramban says the mitzvah min haTorah is not to daven every day. The mitzvah min haTorah is to daven when you need it, when you're in sorrow, when there's something bothering you. So then the question is, why is it bothering you? Is it bothering you because it bothers you? Like most human beings, it bothers them. Something's wrong. Or it bothers them because Hashem wants it to bother you. It's a very delicate dakastic difference, but it changes the whole posture of how you live your life. Doesn't mean that you don't have everything Gashmi that Hashem wants you to have. Because the Eibusher wants you to have all kol tu Gashmi. Hashem wants you to have you need the kelim, you need the vessels to live your life fully. You need all those, you need to be healthy, you need to be in good relationships, you need to have parnasa. This is what Hashem wants from you. Because then you can serve Hashem correctly. But is the foundation the dveikus, the foundation the connection? Or is the foundation your own ego? There's a little sipur over here, a little story that's in the Meres Azov. It brings down, it's a story, but it's very common in Teres HaMagid, Teres Tamid HaMagid. Ki lebomen begoidel abusha v'achno v'zocher adam shafel arachai lo yochel liftach piv l'sapar shvacher v'lasi yisbarach v'ladiash sal kodesh al terech mi aloichish eskelis pal. So sometimes because a person is in great humility, in great sense of awe and sense of I'm nothing. A person says, how can I daven? Me? Daven? What am I to daven? My tefillahs have an effect. Is it possible that Hashem really cares about me? Is it possible that my tefillahs can actually change something? The Torah from Michael Zlotchever, he says that Noach was a small man of faith. It means the Eibusha told Noach is going to come a mabel. What did he tell him for? He told him because he wanted Noach to daven. The Zohar says, Zeraya Shatir. He's a foolish shepherd. He should have davened. But he doesn't daven. And the reason why Noach doesn't daven is not because he was not a tzaddik. The Torah says he was a tzaddik. Because he was too big of a tzaddik. Zusha says, he was an onav. He said, me, daven? Really? What's it going to help? I can't do anything. I'm nobody. I'm nothing. This is a dveikus. I'm nothing. He says, Megoidel Achno, the Yetzer Hara comes and says, you can't do anything. Vos sarach li slabish v'levush gaiva leimar kina ni chumrim ani choyte begeiz a koider zer Avram Yitzchak Yaakov lo yois li lasas in yukazan agusha mazum. Says no, that a person has to slavish gaiva Hashem Lovish Geus is the idea of Lovish Geus, to put on the garment of Gaiva, put on the garment of arrogance, of haughtiness, of self-importance. It's a lavush. What does it mean that it's a lavush? It's the garment that you're wearing now. Why are you wearing this garment? Because this is what Hashem wants from you. Hashem wants you to put on the garment of pride, of self-importance, of emunah b'tochen atzmin. Trust yourself. Trust that you have power. Trust that you can do something. Trust that your life matters. A person wakes up in the morning and says, Moidani lefanecha shechazarti min nishmasi rabba munasecha. Great is your faith. So Rabba Munasecha means great is your faith, and also means great is your faith in me. The Eibusha has faith in you. Hashem gave you back a neshama, put you in this world. He believes in you. You have to believe in yourself. This is the Levush Gaiva. This is the garments of Gaiva. And this is the Avodas HaTzadikim of Bechinas Ayin. In Hashem Nitzavala. This is Avodas HaTzadikim, to connect to this Ayin. But it's also practically in your own life. If you want to live this way, you have to always ask yourself the question, what does Hashem want from me right now, in this moment? Sometimes Hashem wants you to be with pride, with gaiva. If you have talents, Hashem wants you to use your talents, not because you want to use your talents. That's your yashas, that's your tzura. But Hashem wants you to use your talents. If you're intelligent, and whatever, any koiches that you have in this world, in any situation that you find yourself in. This is Hashem Nitzavah. L'chaim, l'chaim. Zusha used to talk about himself in the third person. He used to call himself Zusha. Some people do this to out of gaiva, and some people do this because they're not aware of themselves. They talk in third person to themselves. So every morning, after davening, Reb Zusha would sit down. He would say, Rebbeinu Master of the world, Zusha is hungry. Zusha is hungry. So even though he didn't have a gabi that poured in the cups, but he did have someone that was taking care of him. A shamash. So when he said Zusha is hungry, the shamash would come out and bring him breakfast. One of the shamash tells Reb Zusha, says, Rebbe, Taka is such a big mama and such a believer. But you know, when you say Hashem, Zusha's hungry, it's just a code word for me to bring out your food. Hashem's not really bringing your food. I am. So you should really say my name. Say, Chaim, Zusha's hungry. And then Chaim will bring the food. What do you say, Hashem? Zusha's hungry. So Zusha said, no, it's not true. You're just a shliach Cham l'mor to this l'shakya. If you don't bring me food, don't bring me food. So, okay. Next morning, Chaim says, I'm not bringing the Rebbe food. Let him say today to tomorrow, Zusha is hungry. He's not getting breakfast. Zusha sits down after davening. Says, Master of the world, Zusha is hungry. Chaim was standing on the side. He has no food. He's waiting. All of a sudden, there's a knock on the door. The guy walks in. A huge tray of food. Wow. Says, Rebbe, last night I married off a daughter, had a beautiful wedding, so much extra food. In the morning I decided, what can I do with the food? The biggest chus for me, the biggest honor for me would be if the Rebbe would eat my food. So Rebbe, please have some breakfast. Okay. Chaim says, okay, it's a coincidence. No. How many people get married in Hanapollet? Next morning again, Zusha says, Master of the universe, Zusha is hungry. There's a knock on the door. Shlomo walks in and says, Rebbe, had a bris this morning. Such a beautiful bris. We had so much food. I decided what kind of honor, what better honor to bring the Rebbe food for the breakfast. Please have breakfast. This happened day after day. Finally, Chaim will realize that if he's not going to bring the Rebbe's food to him, he's going to get his food otherwise. So the Tzanya of Yasa, Hashem fills a machzal array of the Shevat. Some people are familiar with this. Nachal connected to achila in general, to food. There's many people that fast, shayvim. And there's special tikkunim that a person could do for eating. We'll talk about maybe this idea. This is ayin. I said before, the bechin of ayin. That in the level of ayin, it doesn't mean that there's nothing. It means that everything comes from the place of nothing. All the yeshes comes from the place of ayin. Not that there's no yesh. So different different mahalchim, there are different paths. How does a person relate to food? Obviously, food is something that everyone needs. It's something that's a necessity of life. It says in Svarim, Sefer Kabbalah, that food is like the shar for all taivas, for all desires. And it could be like, you call something a gateway or something? A gateway to some things. So we have to be very careful in our relationship with food. And there are different paths throughout history. The early Mekubalim, the Chassidi Ashkenaz, they talk about Tanaisim, Sigufim, that a person wants to elevate themselves, be higher, live a higher life. So instead of indulging in food, try to refrain from food, period. Practice Tanaisim. And as Highness arrived, which is like in the middle of when you're eating, to stop eating, to show that you have control over your food, over your consumption. And then there was another mahalach, there's another path. And that was the idea of Ishtavos. Ishtavos, Shavisa Hashem, like the summit, Shivisi, that I've placed Hashem in front of me at all times. Shivisi comes from the word Shava. Shava means equal, same. So Shivisi Hashem like the Sava means, Ishtavos means that everything is the same. Whether something tastes sweet or sour or bitter, doesn't matter. Everything's the same. And my relationship is that everything becomes bland. It's not negated. It's not relevant to taste of food. There's a story that Shlomo Kaliner was once came to visit the Alter Rebbe, and there was a big simcha in the house. Everyone was very excited. Shlomo Kaliner was a big Rebbe. He was coming to the house. The Alter Rebbe had many daughters. So his Rebbetzin cooked up a soup for the guest. And then his daughters, one by one, each one came into the kitchen and said, if Shlomo Kalina is coming, what a chashuv guest, what an important guest. I don't want to participate in the meal. My mother already cooked the meal. What can I do? I can add a little salt to the soup. And each daughter went into the kitchen, added salt, but no one knew that the other one added the salt. So basically, it was a soup salt, a salt soup, whatever. And came the meal. Shlomo Kalina sits down. The Alter Rebbe sits down, and they served the soup, the salt. So Shlomo Kalina, the Alter Rebbe, and there's machlokes, obviously between Karlin and Chabad, what exactly happened and who what. So we're going to leave the. We're not going to say who. Just going to say the story. The story is that one Rebbe ate the soup. Ate the soup. And one didn't. One tasted the soup and salt. So I can't eat this. The soup has no taste. And of course you think that the bigger Rebbe was the one that ate the soup. Mishtavos. What's the difference? Salty, not salty. It matters. But the oimek is actually the opposite. The oimek of the story is that Dafke, the one that didn't eat the soup, is even a higher level. The Eibusha made tastes. Who created taste? Who created sweet, sour, salty? Who created this beautiful world? Culminated pears, culminated different types of fruits, vegetables, and tastes. It's Maram Mosach Hashem. It's M'loi Cholar's Kavoidai. M'loi Cholar's Kavoidai can mean two things. M'loi Cholar's Kavoidai can mean that the world is filled with Hashem's glory, Hashem's covenant. But there's a Chassidish pshat that Rav Shalom Hirsch writes. It's Mamash Chassidish pshat. It says M'loi Cholar's Kavoidai pshat means the fullness of this world is Kvod Hashem. The beauty, the majesty, the deliciousness of this world, the colors, the fragrance, the taste of this world, that's Kvod Hashem. Not Hashem's glory fills the world, but the fullness, the M'loi Cholar is Kvodai. That this world is filled with so many different beautiful things. It's Kvodai. It's Kvodai's Borach. The problem with things is not the things in itself. It's never the things in itself. Never. You should never make that mistake. The problem is our projection onto those things, our relationship to those things. That's when the Yitzhar comes in. That's where the Klippa comes in. But the thing itself, there's beauty on its own. Beauty is always beautiful, always. Maybe you should create a beauty. Maybe we should create beauty. Maybe we should create tastes and colors and sounds. It's Hashem's world. It's the fullness in the world. It's Kvodai. You have to make a bracha on things, on beautiful things. Shkacha be'elamai. The thing in itself is beautiful. The taste itself is beautiful. So when a person is davuk, so two people can eat food and taste the deliciousness and the infinite beauty in an apple. One is eating the apple, and one is M'loi Cholar's Kavoidai, is connecting to Hashem. Someone came from the Kotzker Rebbe. The Kotzker Rebbe became a very famous Rebbe. And, the nature is that when someone is brought up with you, I don't know if that's correct English, someone that you grew up with, they never fully respect who you are. No matter who you become, even if you become the richest, most important, spiritual, highest person in the world, the guy says, come on. You remember we made trouble together in school. You remember we had spitballed at our teacher. Don't tell me now, you gave a choshve guy. This is the reason why the Talmidei Akiva were actually fighting with each other. Because they loved each other, and they knew each other too well. That was the problem. That's why they had no covenant. He said, you, come on. I remember you when you were 3 years old. So someone came to the Kotzker and told him, I don't understand, me and you, we played ball together in yeshiva. Granted, you weren't probably first baseman, you were probably deep left field. But how did you become the Kotzker Rebbe and I'm just a regular, simple Jew? Kotzke Emerson? The Kotzke said, okay. He said, all right, it's a good job. It's a good job. He said, there's an apple on the table. He says, you want the apple? You're hungry? He says, yeah, I'm hungry. Apple would be a good idea. He said, no, just take the apple. He took the apple and he made a bracha. And the Kotzker made a bracha and took the apple. And he said, that's the difference between me and you. You made a bracha because you wanted the apple. I wanted the apple because I wanted to make a bracha. They both ate the apple. They both enjoy the apple. The question is, what's the source of your relationship to things? The reason why you like food. Let's say you like food. You enjoy tasteful food. Is because of the food? Or is it Malay Chalas Kod? You want to taste Hashem's presence in this world, and Hashem created beautiful things, and you want to partake of that. So you want to make the bracha in the food. You want to recognize the oneness of Hashem, the koyach eliki in the food. Same food, apparently the same two people eating the same thing, but a completely different relationship. If food is too salty, there's a chasar in the Malay Chalas Kod. If food tastes delicious, then it's a bracha. Correct. Zusha's hungry, we should have good food. We should remember the food. And the food is obviously a marshal, a metaphor for everything that we need in our lives. See over here in the Sefer, it brings down Zusha hay mevarech, meragel hu levarech kol bar yisol, l'ashon zati bari v'chazek k'moy goy. Sein gesund wie a goy, it's a Yiddish expression. You should be gesund, you should be healthy, you should have what we need. Everything what you need, it all called to a gashmi. That's what Hashem wants. That's what Hashem wants from us. We have to be connected to the Eibishter. And that's what we want. That's what we want in life. We want to be connected to the Eibishter. We want to be Eved Hashem. Eved Hashem. And the Eved Hashem, therefore, participates in this beautiful world that Hashem created for us. Now, how do you know apple is a darkistic emulsion? Because I don't know how many people over here, mamash, have time to eat apples. But how do you know, if you're over the Hashem or over the Atzmacha? How do you know? How do you know if you're eating it because you want to make a bracha, or you made a bracha because you want to eat it? So the Even HaBoichin is like always the same Even HaBoichin. It's always the same way to know. What happens if something changes? The situation changes. And all of a sudden Hashem says, I don't want you to eat the apple anymore. So for example, I don't know if it's all applicable to everyone here. Let's say, imagine you like steak. I don't know what people in Muncie like. Let's say chalent, steak.
Gold
and
steak.
What's a gold steak?
They put flakes of gold in steak.
It's true.
It's a real thing.
No.
Not here, but they do that.
Okay, no. Steak. You sit down after a hard day. Maybe she create a beautiful steak, delicious steak. Chomer atam, you sit down to eat with a beautiful bracha. Mamish, you're gonna dig in. And all of a sudden, your 5-year-old son wants to tell you something. He's holding a big cup of milk. And He said, Ta, I need to tell you something. Ta, please. And then you don't look, and my mistake, oopsie, the entire cup of milk is over your steak. No mistake. Look out the now. The milk spilled. Huh? The mistake. Oh. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. Uh-huh.
No, he hit the steak dead on.
So what happens now? If you're a person that's double and you're a person that made a bracha to eat, not to ate to make a bracha. The opposite. If you ate to make a bracha, then okay, that's what Hashem wants now. Now Hashem wants that you should not eat the steak. No? With the same enthusiasm that you were going to do it, the same enthusiasm, now you don't do it. There's a story about that a full year, he saved the money to buy an esrog. A whole year he collected penny after penny. He finally bought an esrog at the end of the year. Bought a nice, beautiful esrog. And his wife kept on nagging him the whole year. Multiples, I'm a sugar, you're crazy. What are you saving all your money to buy an esrog? We can go to the local gvir, get our own esrog, get from him the esrog. What do you need after this? The most special esrog. We're so poor. He said, you don't understand. This is what this does for me. The esrog is I need the esrog. And his wife said, okay, if you really need it, you really need it. Okay, fine. But comes the esrog the night before. Night in Sukkot, the night before he has to bench esrog, and she says, you know what, after a full year of looking for this esrog and waiting for this, I really want to see what this esrog is all about. My husband's crazy about this esrog. The whole year he's saving money for this esrog. She goes, she looks at it and says, no, it's not an esrog. It looks all the same, it's yellow. And she's not very careful, and it drops, and it's a apostle esrog. She feels terrible. In a way, you could say it's a Freudian slip or a slip. But she does feel bad. What is she going to do? So she takes the esrog, she wraps it back up, and she puts it in the box. She says, okay, listen, my husband's going to make me crazy. I broke his esrog for the whole year. Anyway, she goes to sleep. She wakes up early in the morning. She hears her husband dancing. Walks into the room. She sees her husband holding this esrog that's like leaking, and it's a bracha esrog. And he's dancing. He's dancing and he's on fire. So my husband probably lost his mind. He waited a whole year to buy this esrog, and now it's not a kosher esrog. He probably just lost his mind. And after a while, he calms down, and she says, what's the simcha? What are you so happy about? He said, what do you mean? You know what kind of mitzvah I did this morning? I said, mitzvah? I thought you couldn't bench the esrog. It's the apostle of esrog. He said, that's what I thought the mitzvah was. I waited a whole year to do this mitzvah, to bench esrog. But when I saw the esrog, my first instinct was to be really, really upset at you, to be really angry at you. And then I realized that the new mitzvah that Hashem wants from me now is to be happy and not be upset. So I'm happy to do that mitzvah now. And that's also close to being joyous. The famous story of Reb Zusha and Reb Elmelech, about the pile of Rei. Everyone knows the story. And they were once in a jail. So long in Maisa, stories like this, they were once in a jail. In those days in Russia, the Ukraine, they sat in a jail, in a cell, and in the middle of the cell there was a bucket, and that's where the people relieved themselves. In the morning, Rabbi Melech turns to Reb Zusha and says, it's very sad. We can't put on tefillin, we can't daven. Because there's a thing of rain, you're not allowed. And he was very depressed. Reb Zusha said, why are you depressed? Just like there's a mitzvah to daven if there's no rain, there's also now a mitzvah that we're doing by not davening. So we should be very happy about this mitzvah. So we're going to start dancing. So Reb Zusha started dancing. And the Melech started dancing. They're dancing. And the local prisoners are looking at why you're dancing. So they kind of explain in the whole lomdus. They say it has to do with this pile of, this is the cause, this is the reason for us dancing. So they think the guy's like off the wall, but dancing is dancing. So everyone starts dancing. The officer comes and says, "What's going on?" They say, "We don't know, but the two Jews are dancing about that bucket." He says, "That bucket, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to do it to those Jews." And he pulls out the bucket, and then Zusha says, "Okay, now we can put on film." It's when you're happy and you're connected in any situation, it always works out. You have to remember, what does Hashem want from us right this moment? What is demanded of us? To be with Hashem. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Thank you so much for coming. Bezat Hashem, we can make this an annual thing. I'll be blessed. Zchut. Hearing the Rebbe Tzaddik, the Rebbe Reb Zusha. I'll be blessed because Zchut in his memory we should all do a little bit to bring a little more light into the world. Thank you to the Rav. Thank you to Shlomo. Thank you to Paltio for bringing us all together. Thank you to Chavi. Amazing people. We should all take this light, this Yahrtzeit candle, and take it with us. Oh yeah. Thank you to the Blazer. Thank you to the Nachum. All the holy people that helped us put this together. We should take the light of the tzaddik, and even though the candle might go out after 24 hours, 72 hours, the truth is it never goes out. It should always inspire us wherever we go.
Get up.